It is to fight for girls' education in Pakistan.
She was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17, the youngest recipient to receive.
Her voice was powerful that it echoed around the world.
But she wants all other girls to receive an education as well.
Dear brothers and sisters, we must not forget that millions of people are suffering from poverty, injustice, and ignorance. We must not forget that millions of children are out of their schools. We must not forget that our sisters and brothers are waiting for a bright, peaceful future. So let us wage a global struggle against illiteracy, poverty, and terrorism. Let us pick up our books and our pens. They are our most powerful weapons. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Education is the only solution. Education first. Thank you.
Non-fiction refers to punctual stories that are true, based on real people or true event, or what actually happened in reality. So the characters are real too. So the genres of non-fiction books are history, biography, autobiography, and memoir, travel guides, academic texts, philosophy and insight, journalism, self-help and instruction, guides and how-to manuals, and last but not the least, the humanitarian and humor.
Yes, non-fiction can be based in history and biography. It can be instructional, it can offer commentary and humor, and it can ponder philosophical questions. It can be a book about animals' life cycle, a documentary on TV, a diary, and etc. Another examples are A Brief History of Time in 1998 by Stephen Hawking, Tuesday with Maury in 1997 by Mitch Albom, and When Breath Becomes Air in 2016 by Paul Kalanithi.
In Mingara, in the distant country of Pakistan, in a valley surrounded by tall mountains, green lands, and clear water, lives a little curious girl named Malala. Already at a young age, she had read many books and always wants to learn more and more new things. This way, she excelled in her school. Her father was an educator-songwriter who recognized her talent and passion for attaining knowledge, supported and encouraged her. One day, the Taliban soldiers arrived and took over the valley. The schools for girls were closed, and the civilians were scared to protest. But Malala, however, who was a very stubborn and a brave girl, decided not to give up her education. Thus, despite the Taliban, she voiced out her opinion.
Well, I remember myself as young as 11 years old, looking at myself in the mirror, trying to imagine there's a crowd of people and I'm giving a speech and reminding people to speak out for their rights. And then I was there at a stage speaking at the UN, speaking at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. Some people called me the girl who was shot by the Taliban.
and some, the girl who fought for her right.
Malala began a unique journey in which she shared in her story. She spoke about the love for her school and the ban of education for girls in the valley. Her voice was powerful that it echoed around the world. Taliban wanted to stop Malala's cause, but they decided to silence her, but failed in their attempts to stop Malala's cause. They just made her voice even more powerful than ever, and her cause receives international support. Malala, however, the courageous Malala, became the symbol for the right of education.
Though there are many struggles that accompany daily life in Swat, the primary conflict is over the Taliban's occupation of Swat. The Taliban have banned girls' education, something Malala believes is invaluable. Not only does Malala want to continue going to school, but she wants all other girls to receive an education as well. And throughout the memoir, she stands up against the Taliban to promote this. Climax of the memoir occurs when a Taliban officer boards Malala's school bus, asks for her by name, and then shoot her in the face. Malala narrates this memoir in retrospect, so there are many instances where she hints at what is going to happen. A notable instance of foreshadowing occurs at the end of chapter 23, when Malala finishes the chapter about her hospitalization in Birmingham by saying, "I didn't realize then I wouldn't be going home."
Now, let's talk about the primary purpose of Malala. It is to fight for girls' education in Pakistan and around the world. Malala was shot because she was attempting to go to school in Taliban ruled by Pakistan, but she wants readers to know that the Taliban's terrorism cannot intimidate her into submitting. The themes Malala presented in her story includes women's rights, the power of education, Islam and its interpretations, goodness, fame, power, and the importance of role models. Malala Yousafzai uses these themes to allow readers to understand how Yousafzai became she is today. The narrator and point of view narrates the memoir in first-person past tense. The genre, memoir. Setting and context, Swat Valley, Pakistan from 1997 to 2013. Tone and mood. The first part of the memoir, when Malala is living happily in Swat, attending school and remaining at the top of her class, has a much more light-hearted tone. The tone and mood darkened once the Taliban arrived in Swat Valley in 2007 and became much more urgent as Malala and her father stepped up as an activist. Protagonist and antagonist. Malala is the protagonist, while Taliban, an oppressive Islamic fundamentalist organization that occupied Swat Valley during her adolescence, is the antagonist.
I am Arian Mitolantino who will give you the trivia of Malala. Did you know that in October 9, 2012, Malala was 15 years old? She boarded a bus to advocate for Pakistani girls' education when the Taliban shot her in the head and neck. She was not expected to survive her injuries. It was almost 2 years to the day when Malala was shot that she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17, the youngest recipient to receive it. and she shared it with the other children. Because of the violent assassination attempt on Malala, Pakistan announced the creation of the very first Right to Education Bill. When Malala turned 18, she opened an all-girls school for Syrian refugees, calling on leaders from around the world to provide books, not bullets. In 2015, an asteroid was named in honor of Malala.